Okay, let's see. Okay, we're going to start in a second. I am making sure that I have a couple of notes here that I don't want to forget. Hello, beautiful soul. So today I wanted to do this video to go a little deeper into some of the occult gifts that some people might have no idea about. There are ways to find out if you have access to these gifts through initiations, and we're not going to go over that because, obviously everybody here is going to be interested in different occult practices. So my goal with this conversation today is to provide you with an overview of the different gifts that some people naturally come that have access to, and they can develop or tap or polish those abilities depending on how much they want it. Because if you don't want it, you're not going to get anything, right? Um but before we start, I want to clarify something from the last conversation. We spoke about the different astral doors. I couldn't really go deep into those doors because I didn't have the permission to, and I felt very restricted, which is why I didn't really go too deep into them. But there was something that I mentioned about the human shells. And I wanted to clarify that before we get into this conversation about the occult gifts, because my point through that mentioning that was about how people that are alive, that are humans, can still develop this. We all have the shell, but let's say you have abusive parents or going through an abusive relationship, you might feel like part of that person is with you always because that shell has attached to you, given the amount of energy that you give to that person. And through the shell, it kind of creates like a soul fragmentation that attaches to the person, even though the person is alive. You can see that sometimes there are fragmentation of a soul that attaches to another one. Sometimes parents do this naturally when they want to be overly protected, and they, without knowing or knowing, without knowing, most of the time they will send a piece of themselves with the child to always protect them. But what happens is sometimes that overprotective shell or aspect of the soul becomes too much and gets out of hand. And that's why I brought it up, because there is a way to figure out if there is a soul fragment that is with you, or an artificial shell that stay with you that you amplify that now needs to be released. So that's why I brought that up. But we're going to get started with the conversation that we have today about the occult gifts. And if you're here, please put some comments and questions so I can get to that later. I want to make sure that it's more like a conversation. This is information that I have been receiving for years, and more recently, in the last couple of years, I have been receiving a lot of info, specifically from some of the spirit guides that want me to understand deeper concepts about. Oh my goodness, it's a lot. I don't even know where to start. But especially, I have a spirit guide that is very interested and worked with some of the occult practices that continue to feed me information about things that normally we wouldn't really know unless you have those spirit guides that come from different backgrounds, like the Congo, or how do you say that in English? Guinea. Oh my goodness, in English I forgot. But my point is that there are different spirit guides that are feeding different information for the purpose of me understanding not only the gifts that I come with, but obviously what other people come with. Because when I have clients, I have to know their background and all of that stuff. So it's part of understanding the bigger picture, part of understanding not just me but my clients. And that's why I continue to receive and continue to dive deeper to get those deep insights that normally I wouldn't tap into unless I'm receiving that information, because I don't go looking for this information. That information first come to me, and then if there is a way for me to get the information, I'll figure it out, or I will talk to the elders and I'll receive the information directly from the elders. But it's not information that you're normally going to find in books, or I haven't been able to find in books because I'm not looking for that information in books. You might get lucky though. So and I'm going to tie it to some of the things that you might see in 21 divisions or even in other occult practices, so that it can make sense to you. And all of these gifts, some people come with multiple of these gifts, and some people come with very specific gifts that allows them to do things that other people cannot do. So with that in mind, is there another disclaimer? I think I had another disclaimer that I wanted to mention, but I think I'm forgetting at this moment. So let's go into the big. Oh yes, before we even start with anything else, I want to talk to you about, because this applies to all of us, the soul's animal. You will notice that, in this new age, everybody's talking about the animal totems, the animal spirit guides. But what a lot of people don't know is that there is an animal, a soul animal that has been with you for many, 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 many lifetimes, perhaps eons, perhaps from the beginning of your origins. This animal has a lot of information about who you are. The reason why I'm mentioning that here is because a lot of people don't know about the soul animal. And if they knew, they will be tapping into that energy more often, instead of just sometimes there are different animals that come and they give you what they need, what you need for the moment to go through a specific phase in your life, to go through challenges. But there is one that rules the whole kingdom of the animal kingdom, that works with you and is kind of like the gateway to the animal kingdom. Those those specific soul animal, it might be a snake for you, it could be the wolf, it could be the eagle. They have the history of who you are. They come with you and they bring their abilities with you, but they also are with you when you are going through choosing who your spirit team, your support guy is going to be in this incarnation. And they have all the history and the information that you need. So if you can tap by meditating, perhaps, and see your animal and tap into them, whoever it is, if it's a snake, a worm, a hummingbird, you can ask for specific teachings that that animal can share with you. For example, the eagle could share with you his power, his sight, the strength that they have, the determination. So I wanted to do start with the animal, because I think a lot of people don't know about the soul animal that can bring you a lot of wisdom and knowledge and power. Always, like, is part of you. It's like one of, it's there with you. It's a protector energy that is always very pendiente, very always taking care of you. But you have to, you really have to ask, because when you start asking and tapping into their energy, they can amplify what they normally give you. I had a session one time, I went into a trance and I tapped into a specific animal, and that animal gave me so much. I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, this really works. I am pretty clear on how powerful this can be if you use it. So hopefully you can meditate and get into understanding more about your soul animal, because there is a lot of wisdom and knowledge and information for you through your soul animal that is assigned to you specifically. Now, moving on from the soul animal, I want to talk about one thing that a lot of people don't know, and I kind of hinted at it in the previous conversation with the astral doors, but I don't think I was very clear, because I felt very restricted with what I could share during that conversation, and I had to be very, very careful. But a lot of people don't know that we all have a star that we're born under. This star that we're born under has all the records of your soul, and all the different evolution of your soul. And through this soul star that is out there somewhere, there is different spirit entities that are assigned to you, part of your spirit core, that also come from other stars, and together they make a constellation. I'm not going to get into that because that can be very deep. But what I want to mention about this is that what I noticed with some clients is that their soul star and the spiritual soul astral star could be different, and most of the time are different, because you bring different things from those two different stars. The astral star that comes with you, um, that you're born with under, has records just like your birth star, and together they compose who you are up here, like your spirit, your soul, and all of that. And your spirit team also comes from different places. So together you make this constellation. And when you make this constellation and then you align it to the ancestral in this earthly incarnation, like the ancestral line to the beginning, going back to the beginning, then that's when you're fully balanced. And this is very deep, extremely deep information that I'm not even going to attempt to truly explain, because when it comes to this, there is so much more that I have to tap into in order for me to do a proper job of explaining that. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is because depending on where your star that has all the records of your soul evolution is going to say, once you go through the process of choosing this life and the gifts that you come for this life and the gifts that you will have naturally access to in this life, is going to be like going through your records, going through the Akashic records, the Akasha. And when you go through those records and you see your evolution as a soul, things are going to make sense to you, because all the records are there. And for this incarnation, you put a plan in place. And depending on that plan, you are going to choose different doors that you are born with, specifically born with, when you are born in this incarnation. So, meaning the star is here, the spiritual star is here, all the different spirit things around, and you make this constellation, and then you have to pick the right door to come through in order for you to have access to the gift that you need for this incarnation. And those gifts is what we're going to talk about. I know this is a lot, but please just bear with me, because like I said, this is very deep information, and I'm trying to break it down the easiest way that I can. But there is so much more that I have to understand and tap into, that I can barely just give you like a quick summary of what it is. So when we think of the, sorry, I don't know why my thing is moving. When we think of these doors, and it is the doors that I attempted to convey without really saying much in the previous conversation. And again, I cannot be very specific, but if you know what I'm talking about, you will be able to put two and two together. So, like, no, I cannot even give you specific, because I'm not getting the confirmation to go forward. So, anyways, we all know that this is not new. A lot of people are going to say this is new, but guys, you got to think, the Africans, the Egyptians, the natives throughout, like the Incas, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Tainos, they all had information about the stars and astrology. This is not new. A lot of people will say it's new. They don't understand. This is not new. The ancestors, our ancestors, had information about the stars and the constellation and the galaxies and the movement. So this is nothing new. I don't want people to start saying this is new age stuff, because I mean, then you have to go back to reading a lot of books to be able to understand this. If you don't understand this, then you got to go back to the beginning, because they had information and they recorded this information, and they did such a good job of understanding how the stars influence us that they created divination systems to help us with that. So please, if you that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyways, like the Congo cosmology has all the very deep information about the stars and how they influence us, and so did the Taínos and the Egyptians and the Mayans, and I mean they all did. So we are not going to argue that. We're going to move on from that. So I'm going to start with the light, the lighter spiritual gifts, meaning those that can work with the light, and then we're going to take it back to the dark. And I'm going to start with the light because for those that cannot make it to the end, at least I want them to live with the positive information about the light. Of course, there are a lot of people that work with the darkness for different purposes, and they do what they need to do. So, and we're going to get to that point so we can get there and understand why some people are able to do that. And my goal is not to put any shame or anything into those people that are potentially doing that, because that's none of my business. So I'm just here to provide the information. There are some people that are going to tap into this information and it's going to make sense to them. And for some people, it could also be a warning because, I'll give you a personal example. I was in a very deep trance and I was tapping in, and it was actually an ayahuasca trance that lasted, oh my goodness, it was like 12, 14 hours trance, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. And there was something that I saw that I was like, oh my God, what is this? And it was something that I knew it had to do with the dark. And it was it was pulling me. And in the middle of the medicine, one of the spirit guides that is with me is saying, no, this is no time for there is no time for this. And this energy was very, very stern, because when I saw this ball of darkness and all the things that I could do with it, it was like in a pull, like it was pulling me to look. And the spirit guide that was with me, one of the mysterios, was like, no, this is not what you're here for. And I got the message very loud and clear because it was seducing me in a way. So we're going to start with the light. The light, those people that can only work with the light. And I spoke about that in the previous video about the astral doorways. And hopefully now it's going to make a little more sense. These people are extremely highly elevated beings that are incarnated, and they have already gone through a major soul's evolution, and they might be here to volunteer. They might be here as star seeds. They might be here as healers. They might be here to help the planet go into 5D. Those people have to be so careful not to do something that is going to trap them in the wheel of karma, because they can get stuck. Even though they volunteer, they could get stuck. Papa Candelo told me once I did something that I shouldn't have done, and I was going through a very hard time. And, it was very emotional situation going on. And, I knew I didn't handle myself properly. And I asked for forgiveness. And, obviously I didn't forgive myself because I was still going through it. And Candelo comes and says, you are forgiven. This is a new opportunity. And that to me was like, oh my God, I don't know how, like obviously I pay whatever I had to pay and everything is good, because I was really concerned and I was really going down. And to receive his blessing and his forgiveness, and to know that I have been forgiven by a misterio, it was one of the most beautiful experiences that I had experienced with the mysteries. And this brings me back to those people that are here as volunteers, because anything that you do, you either pay it in this life, and that's why sometimes people have very traumatic heart, like every couple of years something crazy is happening because they haven't aligned themselves and they haven't really understand And it's getting, the higher self is talking to them, letting them know, you got to level up, you got to level up, because these people cannot do things that are going to compromise and basically bring them back to the, you know, doing things that are going to result in karma, in karmatic consequences. So these people, and the way that I was shown that is so complex, there is no way for me to explain this to you, because I couldn't even, all the pieces that come together to make this possible is insane. Like, these people, they understand the darkness, they understand all that we're going to talk about, because this is the ultimate. These people understand everything else that we're going to talk about, because they have gone through that evolution. They are at the soul evolution where they're here as volunteers, and they can know, if they compromise themselves, they can really compromise a lot without even knowing. So these people are extremely advanced. They understand, and they understand the life force. They understand the power of the wind, the water, the earth, the elements, all of that. They will be those type of people that can work with the 5 elements and go through different initiations to be able to do anything and everything possible. The ultimate healers. Eh, a lot of mental magic can be done with these people, because they have that natural ability. They can transition soul from different realms, not just from the earthly realm. So they really are doing a lot of work constantly, even in their dream state. They can know, they can be seduced by darkness, because they might see that it could get the work done faster, and the need for them to help can open up a door that says, we can do this faster if we allow ourselves to work with the darkness. And the darkness, I'm talking about low vibrational beings like demons and disembodied energies and stuff like that. So these people could easily pact with dark forces to help, without realizing that they might be compromising a lot of their soul's evolution in the process. So these people have to take it easy and be patient. Patience here is key for these people. A lot of these people will be working with spirits that are of any nation within 21 divisions or voodoo, because they really have access to all of that. So they can pick and choose. The key is not to let the seed of darkness enter, because otherwise it's going to create a lot of challenges for them. These people, they have even though they have the understanding of the darkness, and they know how it works, and they know how things move, and they can see, and they're very advanced, they just have to know that they should not be patting and working or conduct, like managing or interacting with these entities, unless it's to transition them to where they need to transition. And these people naturally know where those entities need to transition. When they go through their different initiations, they start receiving those gifts to be able to transition so automatically by open portals and sending them to where they belong. Sometimes it's not to the light, sometimes it's to other places, and we're not going to get into that, but they naturally will have those gifts, and they will be activated depending on the different initiations that you might be going in your dreams or in this physical reality. So that is the most highest light supernatural gifts, occult gifts. Then following those, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with the top of the top, the cream of the cream, and then we're going to go down. Then we have the people that can communicate with the archangel. These people are considered messengers, because they can communicate with very highly elevated beings, like archangels, highly ascended beings, including inner earth beings and different elementals and stuff like that. But they have a very strong connection to the justice division. They also have a lot of abilities to work with water. And when I'm talking about ability to work with water, I'm talking about the throat chakra. So they can command entities with the throat, with their voice. with their thoughts, and they can do work with water that other people will not be able to do. Like, listening through the water. They might be really good at moving water. They might be able to heal doing cleansing and refrescos, like the hair refreshments. When they touch you and you're blessed with their hands because they're channeling energy and they're using the elements that is most available to them to do powerful healing work, you're going to see that whatever they do is going to be like, oh my God. Even if it's just water, it just feels like, oh, thank you, God, because they have that ability naturally to activate the life force of water, to amplify that and really receive healing through them, through the water, whatever they're charging with that water. So when you're going through initiations and refresco, the head refreshments, and these people have that ability, you're going to see that everything is like, wow, beautiful. So these people have a lot of connection to the ocean spirits and the river spirits, of course, because it's of the water. But the ocean spirits, they also have a lot of secrets of the womb, the cosmic womb, and the real woman's womb. So a lot of these people could also be working with the womb, like really healing of the womb, healing of the astral entities that may be attaching to somebody. They might be creating, they might be really attracted to deep water spirits. Some of these spirits are trapped. So knowing the difference and discernment is key for these people. You have to go through a lot of meditation and things like that to really understand the difference and just to be careful in general. But a lot of dreams are going to reveal to you with instructions and DNA activations about what you can do. You might be having a lot of dreams with water or mermaids or different water beings, amphibians, and so on. And that's because you might be one of those people that have these abilities. Then with the secrets of the water, I have to mention that with the secrets of the ocean comes the secrets of the origins of this planet, because we had nothing. There is this major water, and then it separates. So source sends the water in one way, and the earth, the land in another one. But the water that was there, there is a lot of secrets in those water that only are revealed to those that have the ability to come through this specific astral door that allows them access to that type of information. So they also have the secrets of eternity is what I'm trying to say. So when source separates the earthy experience from from the ocean, and divides them, right, so that we can survive on the land. A lot of the secrets went down with the ocean spirits. So those people that have a lot of water energy, a lot of ocean energies, will have a lot of dreams with different type of ocean beings, and can receive a lot of those gifts through secrets, through their dreams. We also have the spirit that can path with the four elements. The Taínos used to call it Anahua. And those spirits, four different types of winds, the four cardinal points. And the natives used the wind a lot. A lot of Semins that had a lot of energy of the air, the wind, because of the hurricanes. They lived in a tropical island, so a lot of work was done to appease them. So if you have a lot of natives, you might also have a lot of abilities to work with the wind, the air element. And as you know, the air element is like the neutral place between fire and water. So with that, depending on your other abilities, you might notice that you also have a lot of fire and water abilities. So it's actually a very beautiful thing to be able to have access to, because with the with the ability of to be able to work and not manage but work with, partner with the winds, the four winds, the four cardinal points. What you're doing is, there is a lot of secrets with the number four, a lot that we're not going to get into it. But with this power comes a lot of responsibility, because you also have the power of being one of the most powerful healers, because just by you talking to someone, you could help them either release, cleanse them, help them with activations and downloads. And like if you're a priest or priestess and you have this ability, what you're also doing is that when you go through helping someone with initiation, you're truly supercharging them. So the power of the word is insane with these people, and they can understand the secret of the throat chakra, and they can also help you just by being around you, by talking to you, and with their words they're saying things. If they're doing intentionally or even unintentional, they could also curse you if they're not in alignment. So the power of the words for these people is insane, and you really have to be in full alignment, because what you could do is that you can create a lot of chaos for people if you're not careful. So you have to be in alignment in order for you to walk your path properly. These people also tend to do a lot of work with the justice division, because it's, the wind, air, and the justice division normally is an air element. They can remove and also tie up different spirits and that are not behaving nicely, and they can send them to other places. These people also can develop a lot of powerful divining abilities. They just have a natural way of picking up information from the four cardinal points. So it's like you can be receiving so much from the wind energies, the wind spirits, that it's next level. They can be powerful charmers. Like, I'm talking about people that can use their words and make you sleep without you even remembering. Like they can just do things that sometimes people don't understand how powerful this chakra is, and it's because they don't understand how energy works. Because what they're doing is that with their thoughts and their voice, they're creating magic. So there is a shaman that I was reading his. I was going to a retreat in Peru, and I was reading the website, and I was going through, this shaman, just to make sure that I like the what I was seeing. And he was talking about how when he was a toddler, there was it's a village, and there is like a storm that comes out of nowhere, and everybody goes um into the little uh, what do you call this, the little shacks and their houses basically, and they go in. But somehow the mother was doing something, and he comes outside, and he's like 3 years old or something like that, and the wind takes him, his spirit. And the mother realizes what's going on, he goes into a trance, and the mother realizes what's going on, and she calls the shaman of the village at that time. And the shaman knew that it was the winds, the spirits of the wind that took him. So the shaman goes into a trance, and the shaman goes to find the spirits that took him. And the wind spirits tell him, we already baptized him, so he belongs to us. So he negotiates with them. And when he negotiates with them, the wind spirits tell them, well, he's already baptized, so if we give him back to you, his spirit, if we give him back to you, you're going to have to teach him to work with us, because otherwise he's going to have a very miserable life. And I really fell in love with that story, because it reminded obviously so much of the natives of the Tainos, but these were Incas in, from Peru. So I thought that was a fascinating, like, real story of someone that has been recognized as being baptized by the wind spirits. And, of course, there are some people that are going to say that's BS, that doesn't happen. But anyways, moving on to those people that can work with the fire magic. The fire magic is not just about moving, like some people think I'm going to concentrate and I'm just going to move the fire, make it strong. But there's more to this. The fire magic is the ability to bring light into the darkness. But when you have fire, you notice that there is always a shadow. And that shadow is the depression that comes from knowing that there is a little sea of understanding the darkness. And these people can go through a lot of depression because even though they bring that light, that passion, that light to to light the way, there is a little shadow that says, "But I'm here." So these people really have to go through they have to have elders that can help them make sense out of life to make it easier here, because they do have the ability to manipulate fire and do cleansing with fire, do healing. Like, if you think of the fire division, of Candelo, Candelina, and all of that, those are, they have the ability to do healing and cleansing with fire magic. So similar to that, I just wanted to give you something so you can put two and two together. So a lot of the patrons that are fire, right? They're very fast. They can make things happen really fast, but they can be aggressive too. They have that aggressiveness in them that if you're not careful, they can be a little dangerous. So fire magic also is about the solar plexus. So these people that are working with fire magic also have a good ability to help heal the solar plexus. So when you think of fire, think of the solar plexus, think of determination, assertiveness, just really strong light, purpose. But there is always that little seed that is like, I'm here, I got you type of thing. So we also have those people that they stand in the middle of the good and bad. Let me just see a note here. Make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. No, yeah, with the fire magic, the ability to work with your eyes, whether it is the third eye or your eyes, just by you seeing something, you can bless it or curse it. And we're going to talk more about that later on. Most of the people that are this rate, still working with the light, it's like you have 4 seasons. And those 4 seasons, out of those 4 seasons, with the fire magic people, there are 3 that are light and 1 that is dark. And that little dark says, I'm here. So that little depression stays with you unless you can heal that, whatever it is causing that depression. Perhaps it's the fear of knowing that there is darkness out there, or whatever it is, traumas or whatever. You just have to figure out how to heal it so that it cannot, you can transmute that, is what I'm trying to say, because you don't have to let that be the only. Okay, one of the things that is one of the biggest point of this conversation is any of these things that we come with, we can always go through an evolution process in this incarnation so that we can get to the next level. So it's not just about the fact that you have 3 pieces of you that are light and 1 that is dark, and okay, I'm going to accept it. It's more like, okay, how do I transmute that so it doesn't take me down and it doesn't make me depressed, is what I'm saying. Those people that can stand in the light and the dark, I'm going to do this. So light and dark. And in the middle is these people that I'm going to talk about now. I don't have a name for them. I just have the concept. These people that are standing right in the middle of the light and dark can work with either light and dark. And most of these people could be working for the good of people. And they will work with the darkness to do defensive magic. Now, any people that are working with the light can do defensive magic because you're defending yourself. Going there to cause harm, like, oh, you look at me bad, I'm going to do a curse for you. You cannot do that if you work, if you're the first person that I mentioned here that are very highly elevated, that are, I mean, these people are volunteers here. If they cause harm to someone on purpose, they're going to have to pay in this life, or they're going to create a lot of karma for their soul. Now, the more we move down, the fire magic people, they have three pieces of them that are completely light and one that is a little, I got you. Now, these people that are right in the middle can go either way. And because they can go either way, they have to be very careful, because even though they have approval to work with the dark, to be able to do work for the good, doesn't mean that the darkness cannot seduce them so much that they can lose control in it. And this is what happened to a lot of people. A lot of people that are working with both the light and the dark, they get seduced by the darkness because it's faster. You feel stronger, you feel powerful. People see you and they're like, oh my goodness, you're so strong, you're amazing, you're the best. So that really gets the best of them. And that's when greed and power becomes a problem, because it seduces them. And those that work with the dark, you have to know that there is no security. They are not loyal to you. You might be able to command them today, but tomorrow you don't know. Even though you think you do, you don't know, because they can flip on you. And when they flip on you, you pay the consequences, especially if you were commanding them in a way that they were slaves to you. So you really have to be careful with working with the dark, because it can really flip on you. Some people can go the whole life and nothing happens, but the descendants, and when they return, they have to pay it all back. So these people have a lot of, similar to the people that have the power of the word and they can only work for good. These people also have the power of the word, but they can quickly curse you and create chaos in your life just by saying one thing, even though they might not know it, that they're doing it. These people are very powerful with their throat, but they do tend to be right in the middle. So if they get upset with you and they say something, you will feel it. You will see the consequences, because they have that natural ability to do that. They can trap spirits by hissing, singing, whistling, praying. They can trap spirits and send them to different places. They can send them to your house. If you have this ability, you could be thinking like, I want to send this message to someone, but you know you don't have the best intention for that person, so you want to let them know you suck. Well, you can easily think of it. This person will say it, will think it, will bring an entity from the astral and use that entity and send it, and the other person is going to feel it, even though they might not even know where it's coming from. So these people are right in between, and they really do have to be careful. Now, I think that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get too much into it. With these people, if you have friends like this, you will notice that sometimes when you get angry with them, or they get angry with you, things don't go very well for maybe a day or two or a week or month, because these people, if they have that ability, just by them thinking badly of you, they kind of curse you. And you know it is what it is. So you have to know, like, that's why a lot of people that are working in the occult always have a lot of protection, because you don't know who you're dealing with. So then we have people that can work with alignment, soul alignment. And these people are, in Spanish, santigueros, yeah, they do soul alignment, so that they align not only to remove curses and hexes, but they also can align your spirit team. Just by doing a consultation with you, they'll be able to align and do things, so that you can feel the different spirits that are with you, and organize them. Because a lot of the time, those spirits are very disorganized. If you don't know how to organize them, or you don't have elders that can organize them, you're going to feel a lot of things going on, a lot of, oh my goodness, nothing is making sense, and I'm not sure who's coming through, what's going on. I don't, like I don't feel my spirits. I don't talk to them. I don't, it just feels very off. And it's because you might have a misalignment due to something that happened, or just because you never really aligned them, or you never really went through the right initiations or whatever it is. So sometimes it's because you work with someone that didn't have the highest good in mind for you, and they created a lot of entanglement. So those people that have the ability to do soul alignments are going to be able to align your spirit team so that you can identify them better. They will be able to communicate to you properly. You will know for what purpose and stuff like that. um, the soul alignment people, they do a lot of powerful work when they're doing like if you're into 21 divisions, you might go into a ceremony and go through a baptism. And that's when, that is what is a baptism. The baptism is a soul alignment ceremony, basically, where you align your spirit team. Some people are so much better than others, naturally, right? So when you go through alignment of the spiritual team, what you're doing is that you're going to have more balance between this reality and the spirit team, so that things will make more sense. You can understand things clearly. You'll be able to understand better the messages that are coming through, and eventually you start working on your abilities, and you can become a really good diviner, because these people that are soul alignment, I don't know what to call it, soul alignment aligners, they naturally have an innate ability to be great diviners, potentially great curanderos as well. So, okay, next one, we're going to be talking about those that can hear the different disembodied energies, including dark entities, astral entities like larvae and other entities that are in the astral planes, as well as the higher elevated beings. And these people, they have an ability to hear and discern energy. And like I say, a lot of the people that are very highly advanced beings that are here as volunteers and are into the occult, and they already have all of this, right? But some people only come with specific abilities. The people that have the ability to hear spirits, astral entities specifically, they know how to discern energy naturally. So they become they can sense it. They can hear. They might be hearing crazy things going on. They might be hearing things happening that are not happening in the house, or at the neighbor's house, or in the patio, or in the sky, and you're sleeping and then you hear something, you're like, what the heck was that? And it's because the astral entities are talking to you. Sometimes these people will also have specific astral entities like that may sound like animals, and they will give you a hint. Like eventually you notice, oh, if they sound like a dog, it's because they're warning me of something. If they sound like a bird, it's because they want me to see something. So these people have an innate ability to hear and sense different type of low vibrational beings, but they can also talk and understand and hear the higher vibrational beings. But they have all of that. So from very high to very low vibration beings, they can hear and sense them. They can also work, if they get too far into the dark, they can also work to send shadow entities to you naturally. And these people tend to like to work with like some of the witch darker magic. I'm not going to mention any names, because any spiritual practice can be dark depending on your heart, right? So I'm not going to go into that. Now, the people that have the ability to pick up entities, I want to talk about this because there are a lot of us here that have this ability. These people that have the ability to pick up entities, we become like a magnet, like a filter, like a magnet. We might be walking around, and next thing you know, you have one entity. You go to the botanica, you have another entity. And then you have to figure out how to release those entities naturally, right? Now, sometimes some of them, stay around too long, and then you like, oh my god, now I have the spirit and whatever, and then maybe your padrino or madrina is like, why you have another spirit, what did you do? And it's not that you did something, it's just that you pick them up. So these people are basically gifted with the ability to become that portal that picks up the entities that don't belong in the earth realm and send them to where they belong, or to transmute and go to the light. So they will constantly be picking up entities left and right. They have to go through a lot of cleansing. A lot of people that are here do this naturally because we volunteer to do this. So your job is to keep yourself clearing yourself all the time. Something so simple as getting in the shower and like thinking, I'm releasing and sending, just so that you can release whatever stays that you didn't even know you picked up. So the ability to let's see, anything else I want to mention about that? I think that's it, right? But I think even when you're sleeping, you might be going through picking up some of those entities, because when you go through the astral planes, there are a lot of those entities. So if they come in contact with you, you might naturally attract them, and then you're releasing them and sending them to where they belong, and so on. That is a natural gift to a lot of people. Unfortunately, no every priest and priestess see it that way. So they might be thinking all the time, oh my god, you're doing something wrong, you're doing this. And it's just because if you attract them for whatever reason, and you have this ability, it's because you have to help them, or send them to where they belong. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let me move on because I know it's taking too long. I want to talk about the people that have the ability to, what is the name of this? What name can I give it? Ability to tie up part of your spirit team. This is when it gets a little dangerous, because some people have envy and jealousy. And when you go to them for some work, spiritual work, they may do things to you to take away, tie up. Basically, some people call it stealing your spirit team, but it's not that. This is what happened. When you go to a priest and priestess and they don't have the highest good in mind for you, they might be jealous of your abilities. Trust me, it's natural. A lot of these people are jealous. They see that you might have a lot of power within you, and they can try to use some of that for them, right? Those people, they these people are, how do I want to say this? They can prevent certain spirits that are with you from manifesting in your life. And how this happens is because they will put something that is a very low vibrational um, being that will compromise some of the higher vibrational beings to be with you. Meaning, like when you do alcohol and drugs, right? Your soul doesn't stay around for that. It kind of takes like a little break if it's really bad. Same thing happen when there is a very powerful dark force that is putting you. Then the higher vibrational beings, if they are not able to, you know they're not with you always, because obviously they have other work to do, right? So you have your spirit, your guardian angel and so on. But if for some reason this entity is put with you, the other entities that are vibrating very high will not come through you because there is a block there. Or they might come and do what they need to do and release that. But if the brujo knows how to tie up your spirit team, they will be able to replace, or not replace, but add an entity that is going to prevent from the other ones to show up. If I'm trying to simplify it, but this is very dark, very dark, and I don't want to get into deep into the dark because I don't want to give ideas or make or put fears into people's mind. The warning here is just make sure that you know who is going to touch you, because when you go through certain refreshment and initiation, A lot of these people, if they have a lot of jealousy, they could be able to do this, and then you may be screwed. I have a lot of stories about this. People going to priests and priestess that created a lot of chaos, people that have lost a lot of money, people that have lost their partner, and all because they went to the wrong person. And people that are receiving points of initiation in this is crazy, but there are people that are receiving very a lot of initiation in their dreams with spirits that are very, very low vibrational beings. This is mind blowing. And this happened because this person went to someone that created severe chaos in her life. And she got divorced and lost a lot of money, over $100,000, and just insane. You got to be careful who you go to. Um, yeah, I don't know what else. I don't want to cause any. I don't want to give people the idea that everybody's doing this, because there are a lot of beautiful souls that are practicing different occult magic. But really, you just have to do your job, because these people that have the gift of entanglement, they will entangle the crap out of your life without you even knowing. And you think everything is beautiful, and then one day everything crashes once they do what they do. So, and they do it little by little. It's not overnight, for so that you don't know who did it. So you really do have to be careful. Um, these people tend to have a lot of abilities to work with the air element, and they will work with, if they have a clean heart, what they can do is do a lot of defensive magic for you, because they will use a lot of swords and knives and be able to fight for you in the astral planes, and by simply doing things with specific objects. But if they don't like you, or if they're jealous, you got it really wrong, because they don't play around. This is what some people call like dark brujos and brujas and so on. So that's my disclaimer. So the people that can pat and work with the fallen angels and the disembodied energies have come for their very new souls. They are souls that are not very advanced, and they come to learn what that means to work with those entities and how those entities work. It's almost like a research, and they come and they do that, and they're working with them, and they're commanding, and they have a lot of power, and they're powerful. But really, what they are is that they are very new souls. They're not very highly ascended beings, humans, beings, souls that are incarnated, because they have to learn what it means to work with such dark entities. And there is I think it's in the Congo cosmology or something, that it talks about how everybody comes from the dark, and because we all come from the dark, we're all fallen angels, and therefore that is the beginning of understanding the creation and all of that. And we're not going to get into that. You can read Congo cosmology if you want to get into that, and some of those occult gifts on the Congo, to get their perspective. I do believe that this can be true because of what I've seen when I gone through do some of the Akashic readings for some people. And it's crazy, crazy, crazy information. And what I notice is that those people that are still doing, they might be more advanced, but they might still be able to pat with these falling angels and these emotive energies, but they have so much darkness in them that they naturally are attracted to a lot of drugs and alcohol and very dense, low vibrational things, because it is still very much part of them. And it's not like a seduction, like, ooh, it's like, I got this is mine, like this is who I am type of thing. So these people they're like the like dark, what is the name for those people? Oh my god, they're like I forgot the name, but there is a name for these people. They, I did a quantum healing session with someone that was like a dark wizard or something like that. I forgot the name, but he was in Egypt and he was doing a lot of crazy type of magic. And his evolution as the soul, when we went through that, it was really painful and intense. And not many beautiful things in this person's evolution, because he's not there yet. So God created everything, the darkness and the light. So we're no one to judge anyone, but we do have to feel some type of empathy, because it's like there is so much pain and trauma. But we all have done that. When we get to that point where we're a little more ascended, we come from that ascension because we have gone through all of that trauma. So we're not going to judge anyone. We just remember that we all have been there. Understanding that pain that really comes deep within their soul is actually very sad. So anyway, so during the incarnation for these people that come to work with these fallen angels and these embodied energies, um, through different initiations, they can path with these entities and do work. And some of these people can do work for good if the heart is already, if they have good parents and a good community and so on. But sometimes it can just take them, because it's part of the reason why they came here for. So they do tend to have very challenging lifestyles. And when they start working with magic in this way, they can become very powerful at commanding and assigning jobs for these entities for whatever reason they need. So just talking about it, it's just too much for me. So under these entities, you'll find that you have to be very careful, and you can overcome, you can quickly go over that if you go through the process of having the right elders. But normally they will be attracted to elders that are dealing with the same thing. So it's part of the experience and the exploration of the human soul to learn to do that, to learn how it works, to learn how they think, these dark entities, to learn what happens when you go down that route and so on. So yeah. So then I'm going to move on to another one. From these people, there is another one also that comes. Those are people that can work with the energy of the death, what we call in Ifa, like that energy of Iku and stuff like that. So these people, they will be able to train and work and communicate with low vibrational beings, but also with the shadow and the astral larva, and they will be able to command those things to do specific things, whether it is for good or bad. So these people, they can, it's almost like if the first bad one is like really like we are working with demonic entities hardcore, these ones can work with demonic entities, but they also will have a natural attraction to work with a lot of shadow aspects and astral entities, and they can be very powerful at doing this. And they might be doing work that they might not even realize that they're doing it, just by thinking about it. Like, and by seeing with their eyes, they can cause like what people know as the evil eye. People think it's like the evil eyes is like like a myth, like nothing that makes sense. But in reality, is because of this gift, some people have the ability with their eyes to cause a lot of curses and has people just with their eyes and their thoughts. So, and this is where it comes from those people that are sons and daughters of the death, and working with the astral entities, from demonic, astral, witches and dark witches and shadow aspects. And this is where the evil eye originates from, because they have the ability with their eyes to do things that other people might not be able to do. Another gift from those people could be the gift of overseeing and working in the cemetery. And as you know, it could be good or bad. Working in the cemetery can also mean that even just with the energy of cleansing a muerto, a death person, a person that just died, like let's say you somebody die and they take them, and that person may do a bath for that muerto, for that person that just died, and with that bath they could do witchcraft, or with the bones and this and that. So it depends, hair or nails, and that can be used to do specific offerings and sacrifices and so on. But these people also that are very much working in the cemetery, they might also be working with the menstrual cycle, and the menstrual cycle can be used to do healing work or bad work. Very deep, like you will have to know how to do this, because it's no, like, this is hardcore stuff. You know, and please don't go around looking for menstruals like, like, the period and stuff like that, because but those people that are able to do this can also work with the witches and like the energies of the afterlife, and they'll be able to tap into those secrets and go through secret initiations in their dreams, and even with some of the secret societies. They may also be able to work with the night magic and the moon magic, but specifically there are people that work with those energies of the moon and the dark, and the night magic, and they become a mirror to other people, like a justice mirror. So what you see, what people see in you, they might not like, because it's exactly what they hate in themselves. So the people that work with the night magic and the moon magic, that basically are mirrors to people. And so we all are mirrors to each other, right? But there are some people, my goodness, that when you see them, it's like you see inside, and what you're seeing is not them, it's you. You see through their eyes inside, and what you're seeing is you, it's not them. They have that ability. They can really show you this the stuff that you don't want to see in yourself. They can pact with the spirits of the night, of the moon, the spirits of the forest and the night. They have the with the moon energy and the spirits of the night, the spirits of the forest. They can do specific work that can truly be next level. Like they can work with the shadow aspect. They can work with the forest spirits. They can. I'm serious. When the moon magic also is about the water magic, because the moon is very associated with the ocean, and like even the rivers. So these people will be sorcerers, wizards. They can induce fear and darkness into other people just by thinking of it, like by doing specific rituals in the forest and stuff like that. These people could also be like moon dancing in the ceremony for specific invocation of spirits, and they just basically are very good at commanding certain entities. So what else is there? Any other ones that I can share with you? Oh yeah, so just like we have the people that can work with the spirits of the wind for good, we also have the spirits that can work with the winds of that causes harm. They are that polarity. This planet is based on polarity. So everything that we talked about has its good and its bad part, but there's some people that can work only with the spirits of the winds that are used for harm. And those people will be patting with dark forces, or disembodied energies, in order to learn the secrets of the cosmic womb, the human womb, and the cosmic womb. And they will be working with them in order to learn the darkness facets of the cosmic and the human womb. They can curse people just by saying things. What else? They can work with dark witches. They can, I mean, anything that you can think that the wind in the positive light will do, it can also do here, but for the harm, to understand the secrets of the cosmic and the human womb in its dark facets. I think there was something else there that I'm forgetting at this point. So anyways, the people who are able to, the people that are, this is something that we see in Haitian voodoo, where people talk about the zombies and stuff like that. And I want to mention this before anything else, before I forget, because the people that can take someone's spirit, but not the soul, someone's spirit, they have learned before the power of the life force. So in this incarnation, they're able to figure out how to work to remove someone's spirit from a human. And they now understand the power of the elements of fire and can work for their benefit to bring or remove that element of the life force from anyone. So these people have gone through the beginning, the darkness that can pack with the demons and all of that stuff, that where we talked about that. Now, when you move down, you eventually get to these people that now understand the life force element, they understand the water element, they understand the different elements, and they get to the point where they can figure out how to remove someone's spirit, basically kill someone, right? They can trap someone's spirit, but they cannot trap the soul. And so these people have a lot of knowledge that they have accumulated by working with dark forces, to the point where now they figure out how to trap the spirit of someone. So they have that power. They understand the power of fire, and they understand the power of the life force, power of air, power of water, and they can use that against someone. So these people can take your spirit, they can take your spirit, and they will leave you. They can even also take your spirit in and leave you unprotected. So you have to, and I'm not saying to the extreme where you will be completely unprotected, but they will cause specific challenges in order for you to go through, and there have been people that have said in the Dominican Republic that, this is common. I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know, but there have been people that said that this is common for some people to do. And obviously that's why we're careful. So these people, you just got to be careful who you trust, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm going to start reading some of the comments before I continue, because I don't know, it's so much, I don't know what else to give you. So okay. Yeah, the animals, Sweet 69, they will have specific messages for you. You will have to meditate and also research. There is a lot of information on the different animals and their meaning, but that's going to be, for some people, the meaning that you find online is not going to mean anything. You have to really meditate to get your own answers. Christine and Sochil, hello. Natasha Charez here, hello. Kay, thank you, Kay. We have Karen and Raquel. Raquel is here. I thought you were going. Oh, maybe it's at the end of the month. So, anybody has any specific questions about the gifts that we spoke about? These are very deep, darker. We ended with the dark gifts, but we started with the light gifts, and I think the conversation is more so that we can understand the journey, the soul's journey. The soul stars. Let's see if I have a little paper here. The soul stars. The soul stars, and it goes around like this. Well, that's really bad. That's a really bad drawing. And every time that it comes through with there are different doors, and those doors have these gifts, and these gifts will give you the different abilities that you come with, depending on your soul's evolution and your life mission for here now. There are occult initiations to figure out which one you come with. But I think if you meditate, most of you will be able to pull that information by simply meditating, right? It's, of course, if you want like the deeper information, you will have to go into some initiations, because that information is not given just to anyone. You'll have to go through initiations to do that. But the goal is to give you an overview. First, as a warning, there are a lot of people that tell me of their experiences with priests and priestesses that really created a lot of entanglement because they did things that they shouldn't have done in their head. A lot of people that are very confused and don't understand that this, we want to think about this is 5D and everything is love and light. But the reality is that there is this darkness out there that we have to be aware of so that we can be careful about who we trust and who we see and who we allow to touch our heads, who we allow to teach us and do things. Because I think people are so naive sometimes. Sometimes we can be very naive. Like, let me tell you an example. Like when I was going through one of the initiations, I was going through the initiation and there was something that says you're gonna do this and this, and my question was like something so simple, but because it was an occult initiation, I was like, I have to be very specific. So let me ask and make sure. And looking at that, looking at that older, younger version of myself, I'm like, wow, I was really naive. So when people come to me and they're asking all of these little, like if I recommend a bath to someone and they're like, how many leaves and how, people really do trust whoever they're going to go with. And they put all their faith in that person. And sometimes that person doesn't have the highest good. There is a lot of greed, a lot of jealousy, a lot of everything. So we have to be careful who we trust. And we have to be able to discern energy better and really, really research who are we putting ourselves in our hand, like in whose hand, like who is this person. Like meditate before you go into that person to see that person, just to make sure that there is an alignment of energy, that your spirit team is sending you to that person, because you might be creating a lot of issues with that. I think people really do naively do things that we don't realize. And later I'm going to be there was a conversation I wanted to have. I forgot what it was about. But there was a conversation I wanted to have about some of, let me see if I wrote it down because I don't want to make it up. Where is I don't know where I put it. But there is a conversation about some of the things that I have experienced with the mysterios and the challenges and the tests and challenges, and it's all part of identifying, are you really ready to do this work? Are you really understanding the commitment? Are you really, do you really believe? Do you really understand? Do you really accept? And I'm going to be talking about that maybe next week, because I have sessions the whole week. Today was the only day that I have available. But maybe next week I'll be talking about that, because I think a lot of people that are going through next level tests and challenges might not understand. At one point I felt like giving up, because I'm like, this is nonsense. People don't get it. People don't understand. And then every so often I go through the same thing when I'm ready to level up. And, I don't, thank goodness I don't give up, but I can totally see how, because when you, for example, one of my elders in one of the occult practices that I practice, very advanced person, this person told me, when I see you, I cannot see you as one of or under me. I see you as equal. But if this person has a seed of jealousy, this person will be threatened by what I receive from spirit directly. So I before I reached out to this person, trust me, it took me a long time before I decided to do it, because I wanted to make sure that I had the right person. So the reason why I'm saying that is because you will notice that there is so much jealousy when you go to other to people that are practicing different occult practices, because everybody wants to be the best, the strongest, the most powerful. And it's not about the service. It's not about how do we serve you? How do I help you? You came to me, Spirit sent you to me. How do I service you the best way possible? Of course, there's boundaries, right? But I'm not saying that they become your child or anything like that. But when you go through this and you're thinking, how much money can I get out of you? Then, well, that is a problem, because there is a sea that can become and get out of him. So if there's no questions, I think I'm going to end it here. We've been speaking for an hour and 20 minutes. Music. So Jill says, I feel like music is a gift of mine with the listening to the different frequencies. Yeah, yeah. That is, we did talk about that gift, and my hands blow up, but now I'm figuring out how to exercise. And yeah, the tapping into the frequencies, there are a lot of people that can tap into the frequencies, knowing what to do with that and going through the process of activating that naturally and figuring out what do you need to do with that is part of your awakening process to make sure that you're using the gift for the right purposes, right? So it is a beautiful gift. I think everybody, even those people that are very young souls that are going through their evolution process and that are still working mostly with the dark, it's because they have to. We all have to at one point or another. The warning, I think, is, know that is so seductive that it can take you and break you and cause so much chaos that if you're not supposed to be working with those entities, you can go a step backward. And how do you know if you're supposed to be working with those entities? It's going to depend on a lot of things, but you know, this was just to provide you with the different occult gifts. So I think I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really do appreciate you. I am going to be doing, I know you guys been waiting for this. I'm going to be doing a pick a card. I don't want to, but I have received a couple of requests and I've been postponing it. And I got a gift from, where is the gift? These tarot beautiful cards. And I've been meaning to do that as I said that I was going to. And yeah, I've been too lazy with that. Yeah. So thank you so much. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you. I appreciate you.